All right. You are so much on Prime Morning, and this segment is Prime Insight. My name is Rosalind Fairley, and we know that there is great news in our music industry. Music actually is a part of us, and everything that we do, we sing. When you're pregnant, a doctor will advise you that sing to the baby in your womb, because when the baby comes out, the baby will get excited, and the baby will live a forever happy life. When your child is also growing up, you'll be advised to sing to your child. So music is part of our daily lives, our daily activities. When we go into hip life, hip hop, and of course, the very big one, which is our high life, has been a part of Ghanaian culture for the longest. Some of us grew up hearing high life before we heard of hip life. Now, high life has made, some great legends out of high life. We have a Machidede, we have Daddy Lumba, we have so many great personalities who have, come out with great high life tunes that have made our music industry a strong one before we heard of the birth of hip life. Now, the great news here is that Grammy Awards, which is the biggest awards in the whole wide world, has actually recognized a category called the High Life and Drill Ghanaian Music. Hello! Great, isn't it? Okay, it's time for us to talk about it. The impact on it. Let's talk about High Life first, and then we talk about, the impact of this category, that is us, High Life, which we know that the whole Africa, we are the only ones who carry the name High Life in our music. We talk about it, and then hopefully we hear from you as well what you think this new category is going to do for us right here in Ghana. So do send in your messages to us. We'd love to read it on air. And my guest for today is one man who is in the music industry. He talks about music like nobody else does. He speaks his mind. He frees his mind. He's on the board of VGMAs, and he's also the communications person for Musica, and also he is a special projects manager for Musica. Good morning, Daddy Bosco.
Good morning.
How are you?
Feeling good.
I know. Oh, you're feeling really good. Forever young, aren't you?
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
It's a pleasure as well.
I was excited when I heard about this category.
Yeah.
High life and drill music. We know drill is like a Ghanaian thing now too.
Sure.
And so it's great to hear that there's high life and drill. And let me ask you first how you felt when you heard that this category had been added to the categories of categories in the Grammy Awards.
It felt good because there's been a lot of agitation for Ghana to sort of own high life, because truth be told, high life is played all over Africa right now. And it followed the work that some of the pioneers did. For instance, Nkrumah in his day took guys like E.T. Mensah on tours around Africa and the world. So if you go to Nigeria, for instance, or in certain circles, there's a misconception that high life is actually Nigerian. So I felt that, look, it's time to pop the champagne and celebrate Ghana music. As we're speaking, the National Folklore Board has done some work to get High Life listed by UNESCO, as part of the intangible cultural heritage of the world. So this announcement by Grammys is like the icing on the cake. Yeah.
And this is what we've all been praying for. Definitely,
because this such an announcement will give our young musicians something to aspire to, because if they know that there's a route to winning a Grammys, which would be not as competitive as the other categories like reggae and dancehall, because Rocky went in with reggae and dancehall, went in again with world music. But then, if you have something that is cultural to you, is innate to you, your competitive advantage is higher. So I see more, like Shatta say, he's going to the gym.
Shatta to the gym, y'all.
So it means our young generation of artists, led by guys like Kwame and Kofi Kinata and Co., we'll churn out more high life music. Yeah.
That's great to know. I'll ask you about the Kwame saga, but let's talk a bit about, how high life has impacted our culture, our society, and the individuals at large.
So then you have to look at the origins of high life music to a certain extent. People say high life started when the Liberian sailors who came to Ghana with the guitar taught the guys in the Western region how to play it. And then by 1928, the first recordings of high life music had been done. If you move from that time to now, high life has become like the mainstay of our culture when it comes to entertainment. And musicologists like John Collins will tell you that high life was the term given to the entertainment enjoyed by quote and unquote the elite at that time. Because when E.T. Mensah and co fused with the sailors or the Westerners who came in through the wars, you realize that they were able to create music which is Ghanaian but played with Western instruments and some Western influences. Since that time till now, high life is what people know. You have people like Ampedu who take our proverbs and make them into songs. So people live by these songs. They swear by these songs. These songs are their motivation. There's virtually a high life song for every thing that happens in life. So as you said rightly, high life is intrinsic to our culture.
It's an us.
Definitely.
We live high life. But is there any connection between high life and Afrobeats?
High life is like the grandmother, if you will say so, because who are the progenitors of Afrobeats? Fela and Ebo Taylor. If you listen to their music, it's a derivative of high life music. For people who may not know, Fela lived in Ghana. He crystallized the art form people know as Afrobeat here in Ghana, based on high life music. And if you listen closely to the music of Uncle Ebo Taylor, you hear it because he plays Afrobeats. So high life is like the reggae and Afrobeat, as we know it right now, Afrobeat or whatever you call it, is the dancehall. Let me put it that way. I think that analogy will sit more with a lot of young people. So
high life is more reggae and Afrobeat is more dancehall.
So I'm saying that dancehall is a grandson of reggae music.
Right.
Afrobeats, they are grandchildren of high life music. So if you listen to Afrobeats, or people like Besa will tell you that if you lace some Afrobeat tracks with guitar, you'll be confused whether it's high life or Afrobeats. Yeah.
So it's quite difficult to tell the difference if you are not musically inclined, is it? Because
even connoisseurs, sometimes they debate, and some of them put it down to the amount of guitar you hear in the because you see, Afrobeat has that. It has those basic high life ingredients.
And the high life has what?
Okay. Basic ingredients. So it's the lacing of the melodies. You understand? And it's more pronounced with the guitar because guitar is like it's like the main instrument for high life. The people who started playing what we know as guitar band or high life today, it was on the guitar and traditional instruments.
Now, one thing is that every Ghanaian is excited because we hear the name High Life and we think it's ours. Yeah. But of course, other countries will also want to submit, into this particular category. Do you think we have an upper hand over other countries?
Yeah, to a large extent. Because High Life comes more natural to us. The melodies you hear in High Life, they're more natural to us. Yesterday, there was a workshop at the University of Ghana Music Department, and a guy called Constant Boti. He plays jazz, but because he's Ivorian, you hear his Ivorian background in his jazz music. And he played Yamponsa. And Dr. Eric Sunu, who was sitting behind me, said, "Oh, that is Francophone, that is Francophone." You understand? So it means even when a Francophone plays Yamponsa, he may not get it as what you call it. If you listen to what you call it, Paul Simon, when he sampled the Yamponsa rhythm, you could hear that, oh, this is Oyibo playing what you call a Yamponsa. So I believe we have a competitive advantage.
Okay. So it won't be that competitive for them, right?
Oh, I mean, Nigeria will put in tracks. Other nations will put in tracks. But I don't know if you've heard the new thing Rocky Dawuni's done with Chicheku. Great high life track. Great. And what's exciting about it is you hear high life and you hear some contemporary vibe. You know, these are two young Ghanaians who are doing high life with a certain modern touch. If a Nigerian does high life, yes, it will sound good. It will sound great and everything. But Charlie, I be Ghanaian.
But you see, have we marketed ourselves so much that if we should contest in that category with a Nigerian who has marketed himself so well, let me put it like this. You have a Davido who probably might decide to do a high life in one of his songs. And the song might blow. And then you have a Kofi Kinata doing his own as well, or Kwame Eugene doing his own as well. Do you think at that time, Davido will not have an upper hand over a Kwame Eugene or a Kofi Kinata because of his publicity?
No. What it is you see, the Grammys, the Academy is made up of people who know their gig. So songs are judged on the merit of the song and not on the popularity of the artist.
Now, how do you think this is going to impact our Ghanaian musicians? Because this category is quite an exciting one.
For me, is the game changer, is the thing that will make Ghanaian musicians, like I said earlier, appreciate that, look, if I churn out some high life songs, there's the possibility of getting international recognition. And when I get that international recognition, look, even a nomination at the Grammys is mega. It will affect your what? Your drawing power. You know, so for me, I won't be surprised if over the next few months, we start hearing, you know, guys who yesterday you may not have thought of them recording high life songs.
That's so true. So we'll have more rappers turning into high life musicians.
No, not like that.
Okay.
No, not like that. But I'm expecting that we'll hear a few more high life tracks. Already we have guys doing high life and they're doing it well. What they will then start do is start looking at what sort of production facilities they need to do or use to be able to get that sound that will appeal to the international listener.
Now let's talk about, you know, our boys, and the new generation and the old generation. Do you think this is going to breed some competition between the two generations?
Oh, no.
Really?
No, there's no competition. You see, music is more about collaboration than competition. And so it should be possible for us to see even more collaborations across generations. People like Edem have worked with Pat Thomas, Amachi Dede, and co. I'm looking forward to seeing more of those.
More of those. Now, you know, yesterday, a trending story that has been out, everybody's talking about it, where Amachi Dede did speak on a different station about the fact that, you know, when he performed at the VGMAs, you are a part of the VGMA board, so I have to ask you, when he performed at the VGMAs, he was forced, and he used the word forced, to crown Kwame Eugene as, you know, the high life artist, like the new king of high life music. And people have actually come at him. But let me ask, first question, is it true he was forced?
Okay, I wasn't there. You and I were not there.
Okay.
So, and another thing is that English is not a language. So you realize that the tweets that came after the story, somebody said maybe he was coerced.
But do you think he was coerced?
Like I said, you and I were not there. I respect Amachi. I mean, I've known Amachi Dede for years. I mean,
do you think he can be coerced?
Abrantier, I don't go feel force Abrantier do anything you don't want to. You know what I mean? But you see the circumstances, and I just like to respect what he said, and that's not to take anything away from Kwame. For me, Kwame Eugene are some of the guys who, touch wood, 2-3 years time, they'll be bringing home Grammys. Not just one Grammy, Grammys.
More Grammys.
Kid is so gifted, he's so talented, you know what I mean? And one of the good things for me that he's done is deciding to play high life or you know, position himself as a high life artist. For me, that is big, you know, so whether somebody did or didn't.
You think he's still very, he deserves to be named as High Life King?
So you see, right now, if you talk of the top three, when you think in terms of longevity and things like that, people will mention my big brother Kojo will mention, Daddy Lumba will mention Amachi Dede.
Right.
If you come to the younger generation, there's no way you leave out Kwame Eugene. You mention Kofi Kinata, you mention, you know, but you'll still mention Kwame there.
But when we're having such events, who plans this whole handing over thing, and who plans the crowning of somebody becoming a king in there? Is it like part of an event excitement?
I wasn't at that event that night, so I can't really speak specifically to it, but things are planned and things are organized, and people do those things for a reason. Like I said, Amachi's statement is in no way going to take away from the pedigree of Kwame.
Kwame.
Yeah.
Are we hoping to see a collaboration between Amachi and Kwame? Probably that could win a Grammy. Probably that could win a Grammy. What do you think?
That would be a big song, because you see, Amachi is one of the greatest songwriters Ghana's ever seen. And I'm talking based on what I know. He's one of the greatest songwriters. Kwame too is one of the greatest songwriters. When two great artists meet in the studio and the chemistry is right, the result can be, Charlie, world class. Yeah.
Let's talk about Musica. We know Musica has done a lot to promote, you know, high life music out there. What are some of the things you did?
So, for instance, someone like Konimo, who, when you talk high life, he's like an institution in high life. Konimo, for years, was the president of Musica, and Konimo has gone on to mentor a lot of high life artists. As an institution, as Musica, for us, we always advocate for high life music to be positioned well. As I said earlier on, this exercise by the National Folklore Board to get High Life listed, Musica is a key stakeholder in that conversation. So apart from advocacy, one of the things that we're doing is trying to train young talents in I wouldn't say high life music, but in music, but to better appreciate high life and be able to do it here.
That's great to know. Okay, so Musica is working and working very, very hard. Let's talk about drill music, which is also a part of that category. Now, putting these two together, doesn't it conflict a little bit? Because we're excited about the high life, but then there's drill. So
what it is the category is more for African music. And so drill, Afrobeat, high life, Kwaito, all those music forms are...
Same.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right. And for me, it's exciting because you see, if you look at America, and you say, what's American music? Most people will say jazz music.
Or country music.
Yes, but jazz is what America does its cultural diplomacy more with. Not country. You see, jazz has a more universal appeal than country music. But if you look at that society, R&B is there, hip-hop is there. If you look at Ghana, yes, high life is what we have. But the younger generation, influenced by the world, let me put it that way, have also put something forward. And for them, that is the drill. For me, it's exciting to know that the young people too who may want to explore outside the parameters of high life have an avenue to channel their creativity. So it's good news. And I'm looking to my Kumasianos
I know.
bringing back something. Yeah.
I know, because they do drill like nobody else does.
Business.
Yeah,
That's right,
they are so good at what they do.
Yeah.
So these young boys, we are hoping to hear that they have some Grammy nominations, right?
That is the challenge. For me, and I say it without any reservation, one of the drawbacks to our music is our sound quality. So if they want to get there, they need to ensure that they get it right.
Sound is good.
You see, one of the tricks people like Lumba and Co. apply is they work with the best. So we got to a certain stage, people who could not go to Germany to work with Budo's Tiger would work here and send him the songs to master.
Okay.
That is where, Charlie, you hear the treble, you hear the tweeters, you hear the bass, everything correct. And so that is what I'll encourage our young musicians to aspire to, world-class sound quality. Yeah.
What is the challenge? Why are they going or settling for less quality? Is it money? Is it too comfortable? Is it that society is just accepting whatever they feed us with?
So it's economics to a certain extent. Producing a song, if you want a certain quality of song, you're talking in the thousands. If you don't have that budget and you still have the itch to release your song, you would do budget, what you call it, and it's not every budget production that can stand to certain quality standards. So I think it's work in progress. I believe that as technology develops, we will get to a certain stage where young guys who may not have big budgets will still get good sound. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. We're hoping to get there. Let's talk about our awards shows in Ghana here. Do you think it will some way, somehow impact the decision making with the Grammys board as well?
Yes and no. Already I know that there's talk for a Highlife Awards.
Okay, that's good.
So that is what we may see a few Highlife Award schemes mushrooming, and then over a period of time, 1 and 2 standing the test of time. And for awards like VGMAs, I think they'll have to look at it. Already Highlife has 2 categories. Yes, I'm sure.
Should the categories increase for Highlife, for VGMA?
Sitting here, you see, okay, so let me say another thing too. Categories are developed based on demand.
Right.
If you look at the amount of Highlife songs that are churned out, you will then ask, is there a demand for another category? So let's watch how the next 3
But let me ask you, Daddy Bosco, do you think there's a demand for another category for Highlife?
Currently, as we speak, unless we say, okay, we'll add gospel songs that are, what you call it, then we can say we're creating a gospel Highlife category.
But do you think we have gospel Highlife songs? A lot.
So that's another conversation. People say, what is gospel music? Gospel music is basically the word, because they're great gospel songs that if you go and play it to a Nigerian or to somebody who doesn't understand the language, they might describe it by the genre in which it's played.
Right.
So they're great R&B gospel songs. They're great Highlife songs, which are minus the lyrics. Highlife, so unless, like I'm saying, maybe somebody might say, let's do gospel Highlife category, yeah. But
do you think that, so now getting to know that we can have gospel Highlife, do you think that Grammys will also consider some gospel musicians who are doing Highlife here in Ghana?
So it's up to the artist to say, look, my song is Highlife, so I'm going to try and get it nominated. You know, it's a decision artists have to take, artists and their teams have to take, because if you've done a great gospel song, which is high life in all its shape and form, minus the lyrics, what should hinder you from submitting it? Maybe that's the song that will win the Grammys for us.
Another thing is the language. Do you think it can cause a barrier where you're speaking a local language?
Angelique Kidjo has won Grammy back to back. And I don't think the Grammy people understand some of the things she says. Language is not a barrier when you talk about music. There are many songs. So you hear even English songs and the lyrics have been corrupted. So mama say, mama makosa, mama say. And we sang these songs as children.
Yeah.
And we didn't get the lyrics right, but we enjoy the rhythm and the melody. That is the thing about good music, you know. Angelique Kidjo, some of her biggest songs, we never understood the lyrics, you know, but we danced to them, you know. Jerusalem, all those songs, we never really know what they're saying.
Now, looking at us now being nominated or being in a category of, you know, High Life, that's a whole category, which is great. What do you think the future holds for High Life music?
So yesterday, one of the things Constant Boti said was that Ghana, if High Life is your music, what are you doing to promote it? And that is where the state comes in. So I spoke about American jazz. So America sponsors jazz. At the height of the Cold War, America sponsored jazz musicians to go to Russia, to Soviet Union to play, because they knew that they could leverage the love of their music to turn the minds of the people. Ghana, if we're talking about Ghana beyond beyond the return.
Yes, beyond the return.
High life is something we can leverage. If you look at Jamaica and people say, yeah, Jamaica, reggae is their national music. They actually have a national song contest every year. Buju came from prison a couple of years ago and he won it. You know, so if the state says, look, let's put some weight behind high life music, apart from trying to get it listed with UNESCO, let's institutionalize something. Let's have a contest for high life music every year. When we're going on our trips, let's take some high life artists. Let's ensure that our cultural attaches globally promote high life music. It's something that we can do and, you know, leverage.
Study high life music in school?
Yeah, it's actually going on right now as we speak. And like I said, for instance, Dr. Eric Sunu, who lectures at the music department, you should know them. They play. So right now in Ghana, there are two great high life bands doing wonderful. Kwampa and Eric Sunu's band. And Eric's band is made, so Eric is a lecturer, he has his PhD, he has kids who are doing masters and things, and they play high life because they study high life.
Right.
Do you understand? So it's something that we can promote. You know, educational tourism is something that we can leverage. If we position high life or courses in high life music well, don't be surprised that just like at one time, the School of Performing Arts was the biggest revenue earner for the University of Ghana. It can come back again because more people will want to come and learn high life. As we speak, people fly all the way from wherever in the world and go to Konimo. And the old man is Charlie.
He's old.
Yeah, you know. So it would be good for the state to make a deliberate intervention to promote high life music in practice and in theory.
What about the young ones as well? How do we let them love high life? Because like I said, now they love Afrobeat, they love drill, they love the R&B, they love the hip life, the high life. What we mentioned probably just about 3 who are really into the high life music. We are mentioning Kofi Kinata, we are mentioning Kwame Eugene, but can we get more of them come out? Because anytime we have new young artists trying to come up, they come here and they are rapping. They are not into the high life music like that.
So Mr. Simons will tell you that a lot of his musical practice in the UK was funded by the Arts Council. So they get, when they were there, they were getting grants to even record albums.
Okay.
Getting grants to go on tour. These are some of the incentives or interventions that the state can make. Because if, for instance, young artists know that, Charlie, there's a grant, I go figure maybe 30,000 to do a project, and the criteria is it has to be high life. Don't you know they'll flock there? If they know that, look, there are avenues for them to work as high life artists, it would encourage a lot more artists. Because right now, for them, they think, look, I need to do an Afrobeat song because that's what will be played. If they know they can get support to do high life, they would. Number two, the state also has to make a deliberate intervention. Currently, it's like anything goes on Ghana airwaves. There's no regulation. If you look at places,
but there's supposed to be, right? There's supposed to be a regulation.
Oh, the bill has not been passed. The communication bill has not been passed, or the broadcasting thing. About when Mr. Anda was the deputy communications minister, he led some exercises, but they never saw the light of day. And there were proposals that we need to ensure that content on air is regulated. Music, it has to be 70% Ghanaian and then 30% foreign. That would then control access, such that more Ghanaian music will be played. Somebody was saying, oh, Charlie, if you say that, what will happen? And for instance, Mikio Sebeku is running Kente Radio. All he plays is high life music.
Oh, wow.
It's online. That shows you that there's a big catalog of high life music that can be played. And so if regulation forces the gatekeepers of media to ensure that their playlist contains 70% of Ghanaian music, we will hear more high life and more Ghanaian
That is
music.
a great one, and I'm hoping that will happen. I really hope it will happen, because I grew up on high life music. I'm not that old though. Because when I say that, you must look at me like, okay, how old is she? I'm not that old. You know, but it's something that is very doable.
Yeah.
Very achievable, and of course, it will hammer down high life into the younger generation. Now we know that the people who we grew up listening to, most of them are fading away. You know, they are old or they've passed on. It's like with just a few of them. How can we, hold high life such that high life will not die? Aside the idea that you just gave, where although they are fading off, their life is still being impacted into the younger ones as well.
So somebody said that with the heritage we have in terms of high life music, by now we should have had a national high life museum. Because if you look at the icons who have blazed a trail in high life music, there's so much material to have a museum. Now, museums are places where young generations go and get inspired, apart from learning about their history and their culture. These are some of the deliberate interventions the state has to make. Why am I saying the state? Because what you call it, governments come and go. But if it's a state policy, it be enshrined in the what you call a cultural policy of Ghana, that there should be a high life museum. These are some of the places where young people can then go and learn about the high life tradition and then also be inspired. So for me, these are some of the low-hanging fruits
that we can do.
Yeah.
Daddy Bosco, this is great news and we're excited about it. Let me ask you, on top of your head, 3 great high life music that you would any day, anytime listen to.
Charlie, if you ask me this question, what it is I've worked with some of the greatest high life musicians. So if you ask me to pick, and I leave somebody out,
you are in trouble.
But you see, let me say this, for me, I don't know whether it is the but Debbie for me.
Yeah.
It's
Any
a
day,
classic.
anytime. Yeah.
It does it for me any day, anytime. Not because we're working on Pat Thomas' Night of High Life.
Okay.
Or Sikaya.
Yeah.
Inside the song, he sings and somewhere he says, if something comes, they will say, let's wait for Big Joe. You know, but the way he puts it, it makes you realize that it's true. Sikaya Moja. And Obra. These are thought-provoking songs, and any day. Yes, I didn't mention my uncle A.B. I know in his grave he will be like, all of a sudden. I could go on and on, but since you said 3, these are the classics.
You can go on. Give me 2 more.
2 more. What's the title of Kofi Kinata's Radibe Gistiano?
Yes.
Namabo. Yeah, that song too is another killer for me. And Kim Bruce has one. It's a Ghan song. Shito Ke Ojemba. The song talks about variety. You know, he says, so he mentions the peppers, and he says one of the pepper is Bakboshito, one of this. That song too is a killer for me.
It's a killer for you. Daddy Bosco, thank you so much for being here this morning.
It's a pleasure.
We are very, very grateful. We are hoping that we'll win the very first one.
What I will say is a prediction may come true. But Rocky Dawuni and Chicheku have a great song.
Okay.
Great song out. They just released it, I think, a few weeks ago. That song, the High Life song, I believe will get a Grammy nomination and may win.
Inshallah.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And of course, Daddy Bosco joined us this morning. He's with Musica. He's the director of special projects and communications with Musica, and he has helped us with this conversation. We are hoping that with this particular category, that High Life is in there, Ghana will definitely win. And you know, Daddy Bosco has said that he's hoping that Rocky Dawuni with Checheku's song will be nominated, and we are hoping for a win. Thank you so much for watching this segment.